Want to know what a real man would tell their lady about love and life? You're in the right place. This is Hello Ladies with Rom Wills. Rom Wills is a speaker and author of several books on relationships. Grab some wine, sit back, and enjoy.
Hello, ladies. Welcome to my spot. Ladies, don't embrace the fantasy. You know what? One of my main things with doing something is to really help ladies search out for the real in men. And then, y'all know y'all want that real man, that authentic man, and that man who is going to be who he say he is. But see, there's a little problem with that, right? There's a little problem. A lot of times y'all might embrace the fantasy. And I've talked about this before, but you know, it's funny, it keeps coming up. It keeps coming up. And a lot of times women will embrace the image. You know what, there's a book I talked about on my men's channel. It's called In Search of Good Pussy, right? And it was about black men in their search for love. And the gentleman who wrote it was a player. He was a ladies' man. He was a notorious ladies' man, in fact, right? Down in New Orleans, that whole, you know, he had that whole pretty boy thing, a dude named Don Spears. But one thing, he said too many women embrace a dude who's, you know, riding fine, talking fine, and looking fine. The fantasy, right? In fact, it's interesting that he used the image of a rich minister getting out of a Rolls Royce and all of that. There's actually some seminaries that teach ministers how to have a certain image in order to create a large congregation. But it's part of that fantasy. See, here's the issue. A lot of women get caught up in the fantasy, right? The romance of it, but then they miss the real. Or they get caught up in the fantasy, but when they need that man to be a man, it doesn't happen. Yeah, y'all see where I'm going with this? See, one of the things, and you know, usually when women get to the point where they really look for the real, sometimes it might be too late. I'm just being real with you. It might be too late. Like, women typically don't embrace it when they're young. Now, in all credit, like if a woman can, you know, keep herself in shape in her 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond, well, she's usually, you know, she's mature. She's like, oh, wait, nah, that's a fantasy. He ain't real. That's some bull. You got some game, right? But a lot of times, a lot of women are left with a lot of baggage before then, and then you have a lot of men who don't want to clean up that baggage. But one of the things, and you have to start from the get-go to embrace the real. Now, this is something I've seen more in like U.S. culture, Western culture. And just to be clear, this ain't just I know always get some guys like, these black women, this. No, this is overall. I mean, if you look at the whole concept behind romance, a lot of it's a fantasy, right? That's why you have a lot of romance novels that, you know, there are a lot of romance novels that sell and everything, because what do? They sell a fantasy. When you talk about gigolos or male exotic dancers, their main thing is to sell a fantasy, ladies. That's the main thing that they're doing, right? And a lot of women pay for it, they embrace it, but then when you say you're looking for a real man, see, a real man, you know what, he's not going to come in that fantasy package. He's not going to come with those perfect six-pack abs or, you know, that perfect height and just know what to say all the time. No, that dude might be a little pudgy. That dude probably won't be 6 feet, since 86% of the population is going to be below 6 feet. Shoot. He might not be balling out of control. He might have money though. But depending on what community you in or what subculture you in, you know, if he's even making over 50,000, he's doing something. And notice I said that, and that's in all communities and stuff. That's the money things in all communities, right? And then, you know, you gotta think about that. Of course, somebody gonna like hit me up as soon as I'm trying to do something. I gotta figure out something. I might have to put it in there. Well, yeah. Anyway, right? I don't know if I'll edit that out. Anyway, right? I'll leave it in there. I like spontaneous stuff. Anyway, right? That's one of the things that really gets women caught up. Now, I understand, look, let's be fair. Yeah, I do need that romance, but just got to keep it in perspective. The key to dealing with all of that is to deal with the imbalance. There's nothing wrong with the guy bringing you flowers. Kind of romantic, right? Well, ironically. But there's nothing wrong with him bringing you flowers or taking you on a hot date someplace, anything, but it has to be balanced with that guy who's also going to make sure the bills are being paid, make sure he's going to work, make sure you know, too much money don't have to come out of your pocket, right? And I know I'm saying that, and you know, I'm known as that cheap bastard. But no, actually, if I'm dealing with a woman and stuff, she's my woman. She don't have to worry about money or paying. We've established that. So that's another conversation. But it has to be balanced. And really more women have to insist upon the real. Because that is really going to be your lasting happiness. Now I can't speak for you know, not being a woman, but I've talked to some women who are in happy relationships, and usually they do dealing with the guys in their lives in a realistic thing. They know this dude ain't, you know, going to be that, like, you know, romance cover guy or that drama guy or anything, but they know he's solid, right? And that's the one thing I've seen with them all. They get that guy who's solid, who's going to do what he says, say what he means. He's going to stand on his square, right? And you know what? Quite frankly, there's going to be times he gets on your nerves. There are going to be times when he gets on your nerves. But that's real, and that's growth. That's what's going to happen. Because in a real relationship, there's always going to be something. Now, somebody else is always hitting me up again. Yeesh. Yeah. Oh, man. Anyway, right? Yeah, so that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. So don't embrace the fantasy. Yeah, you want some romance and stuff, but really think about, really think about the realness. And if you start looking, I'm gonna tell you what, ladies. If y'all start looking for the realness, every man that approaches you, if you give that aura off, that idea that, you know, a man gotta be real with you, and you can handle it. Because sometimes a man being real, he ain't gonna tell you some bull. And he gonna be straight up about his intentions. But if you give that aura, if you give that impression, you can deal with the realness, then any man who's on some bullshit, who's gonna be dishonest with you, who has bad intentions from you, two things gonna happen. He's either gonna take one look at you and say, you know what, let me move on to the next woman. That's one. He's going to be like, shit, I can't even mess with her. Right? Or if he if he talk with you for half an hour, he already know, nah, I can't deal with it. But you have to look for it. You have to want that realness. You got to give off, like, just in your body language, your tone of voice, how you speak, what you talk about, that you want that realness and that you can handle it. Because, see, one of the things with men, a lot of men feel like that women can't handle the truth. And I know better. But a lot of men feel that way. And why? Because a lot of women insist on it. You'd rather have that, like, beautiful lie. Even though y'all know that dude is full of it. But if you start off with the real, then you get the real thing. And then you get the real relationship. You're not in that situation, right? You're not in that situation where you starting out with... you know, you started off with so much promise. You like, hey, telling your girlfriends this the one. And then, you know, about 6 months later, or according to a mentor of mine, 3 months later, you're like sad and like, how come you didn't see it all? How can you didn't see these negative traits? That's because you weren't looking for them. If you were looking for the real, you would have saw it right away. Right? So don't embrace that. Don't embrace the fantasy. Don't embrace the fantasy. That's cool. You know what? If you want to have a fantasy, go get that gigolo. Go get that male dancer, because you know what it is. You know it's a fantasy. You know what it is. You're probably paying for it. You know what you're getting. Right? But if you're talking about a profound relationship, something that you're trying to build with, a man you're trying to build with, always look for the real. So anyway, that's it for now, ladies. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace and blessings.